American Gun Chick, and it's Gun Day Monday. Today, I decided to do my best to be open-minded, so I went to a March for Our Lives rally to see what these kids had to say. It's fair to say there was a lot of hurt in this room, and everyone had common grounds in wanting one thing: to end or curb gun violence. So I asked them a question.
If we have things like concealed carry permits and background checks, what's the next step to keep criminals from owning guns or in the hands of people that want to do bad things?
One way that we can do that is by understanding that sales are as important as lives are, right? So now we have to understand that Congress is two different things. You have business and then you have people. They don't think like that, they think business, okay? Like I said, it's important that we should be more adamant in going to our Congress because we do elect these people, and as people, as you can see, that we're all one now. We have to be one when we go to Congress and explain to them that we have to fix it because it's all about money, all right? So if you give them the choice on money or people, they will choose that money because it's helping them. So we got to understand communication with them is the most important that we should be building on because that's the only way we're going to clarify to them that this isn't right, and we need to understand who we're giving these weapons to, not pushing it out for sales.
Wait, what? And before we attack on the whole lot of absolutely nothing that was just said, we have to remember, these are kids. They aren't experts. In fact, most of them didn't seem to be educated on anything. March for Our Lives just put them on a stage, peppered with a few of their professional paid protesters. It quickly came to me. They weren't here to solve issues or find answers. This was just a voter's drive to register voters who predominantly vote blue. The people who run March for Our Lives don't care about gun violence or issues in the streets. They are using these kids to garner votes so they can gain power and institute programs that line their pockets. How do I know? Because not one specialist of any kind sat on the panel. At best, there was this girl trained to regurgitate this from this website.
On MarchForOurLives.com, we have a tab called How We Save Lives, which has 10 policy points that have been proven to work and lower the rate of gun violence. And those include like funding the CDC to research gun violence.
Number 1, no one is against studies that prevent gun violence. They already exist, and this is a money grab.
Digitizing the ATF, because right now, if you want to trace back a gun to where from a crime scene to who purchased it, there's a paper trail, and it's 2018.
Yeah.
Come on.
Number 2, a registry and a digitization of the ATF does zero to stop gun violence. All it does is give power and insight to the government in the event that they wanted to use it against the people.
An editorial in the official Communist Party newspaper seeks to end student protests by warning that they are detrimental to the success of the country. The editorial backfires and strengthens the resolve of protest groups. Tiananmen Square draws an estimated 1.2 million people for an anti-government rally. In response, the government imposes martial law. Soldiers open fire on unarmed student protesters. The death toll is disputed, but unofficial estimates place it as high as several thousand.
It is crazy to me that a group of people could be so naive to this, all while claiming our president is Hitler. Why would you give your only line of defense away to someone you claim is so heinous? Then there was this gentleman, Ron Davis.
And I just want to say also that we have to start repealing and amending laws like Stand Your Ground law.
He unfortunately lost his son in a story that made national headlines.
It all started 16 months ago on Black Friday when the defendant, Michael Dunn, parked outside of a gas station next to an SUV full of teens playing loud music. He asked them to turn it down. They said they did, but when they turned it back up, now one of them is dead.
According to prosecutors, 17-year-old Jordan Davis, seen here in this exclusive YouTube video, was unarmed when they say he was murdered by 47-year-old Michael Dunn for playing loud music. A detective testifying Saturday he found no weapons inside the parked SUV where Davis and 3 of his friends sat outside a Jacksonville gas station.
Did you see any evidence in any of these locations of weapons?
No, I did not.
Lawyers for Dunn say he was defending himself after he heard threats and saw a gun inside the SUV. In an emotional testimony, Dunn's fiance, seen in this surveillance footage inside the gas station when the shots rang out,
Oh my God, somebody's shooting!
describing that fateful night.
What did the defendant say?
I hate that thug music.
On Friday, Davis's friends answering questions too.
Isn't it true that the music was so loud that the windows and mirrors were vibrating in that SUV?
Yes, sir.
Tevin Thompson testifying when Dunn parked next to them and asked them to turn down their music, they did, but that Davis wanted it turned back up.
What did Jordan Davis say?
That, turn the music back up.
To you or someone else?
He was talking to me.
Body panels of the SUV were rattling. My rear view mirror was shaking. My eardrums were vibrating. I mean, this was ridiculously loud music.
And with Jordan Davis's parents looking on, he told the jury the 17-year-old in the rear passenger seat started mouthing off.
I should kill that here. I should kill that. Now he's screaming.
Okay.
There's no mistake of what he said. That is what he said.
You said it looked like a barrel of a gun or a shotgun?
It was a thick enough profile. It was, to my eye, a 12 gauge, maybe 20. When he says, yeah, I'm gonna kill you, I look and I'm looking at a barrel. He's showing me a gun and he's threatening me. But after he opened the door, then he looked at me and said, you're dead.
But it was a bullet to the abdomen that killed him.
So right about here is where the bullet entered. And it entered at the actual border of the chest and abdomen. Over here, it perforated the right lung and continued on behind the heart and in front of the spinal column to perforate the aorta.
Simmons saying that as a result of her study of the wound, Davis was leaning away from the door in the back of the vehicle and not trying to get out of the SUV as the defense suggests.
Prosecutor Guy reminded the jury no gun was found in the teen's SUV and grilled Dunn on every inconsistency, including the fact his own fiance said he never mentioned a gun the night this happened.
Did the defendant ever tell you he saw a gun in that red SUV?
No.
Back in the hotel room, Ms. Rauer, that same night, did the defendant ever tell you that he saw the boys with a firearm?
No.
Did he ever tell you that he saw the boys with a weapon?
No.
Dunn acknowledges he and Rauer fled the scene of the shooting and never called police. Instead, they returned to this hotel and ordered pizza and made some cocktails.
Dunn also exited his car and fired shots at the SUV as it drove away. Dunn was found guilty. Rest in peace, Jordan Davis. I got a chance to speak with Ron. He was a very kind and sweet man. I listened to what he had to say, and he listened to me. It's pretty amazing how people can come together with differing ideologies when both people are respectful and outsiders aren't stoking the flames. A lot of people say there's no point in talking to them, they just don't get it. Maybe. Or maybe it's the way you talk to them. Strangely enough, we have more in common than you may realize. We all want the same thing. The difference is they have been sold on a lie to and by people who are greedy and hungry for power. Mr. Davis also brought up this.
The person, I don't know if you saw down in Clearwater, Florida. Yes. You know, people are just taking any type of instance to pull out a gun and say, I feared for my life.
The idea that some people want to perpetuate is that you can simply shoot someone because you can say you feared for your life. That is a lie and a scare tactic. Neither incident was a legal stand-your-ground incident, which is why in both scenarios, men were and are being prosecuted.
The Florida man charged with manslaughter for shooting and killing an unarmed black man in a parking lot in Clearwater is speaking out for the first time. Michael Draka says he was afraid for his life when he was confronted by Marquise McLaughlin on July 19th. Surveillance video shows Draka allegedly berating McLaughlin's girlfriend for parking in a handicapped spot. McLaughlin shoved Draka to the ground. Draka then pulled out his gun and shot McLaughlin. Authorities did not arrest Draka for nearly a month, saying he was protected by the state's stand your ground law.
Like and also take away the responsibility of the sheriff's office and the police department to make that determination whether to arrest or not to arrest. We need the prosecutors to start arresting these people.
Police officers don't have the ability to just arrest anyone they wish. There has to be clear-cut evidence that someone has broken a law. To do so, the city would be possibly on the hook for false arrest. The officers on the scene collected the evidence and relayed it to the district attorney, who made a legal analysis that this incident was outside the confines of the Stand Your Ground statute. The Stand Your Ground law, as written and intended, is not why these individuals were shot. It was because two men chose to go outside the law. And before anyone says, well, that's the excuse their attorney used, know that their attorney is forced to come up with some kind of defense by law. And by law, that is the easiest scapegoat. But let's get back to what this is really about.
Pick someone that you believe in and that you trust and that you want to get involved with, and go on knock on some doors, go and make some phone calls, and go and make a difference, because that's how we're going to do this. Is how it happens. That's how we're going to do it.
Overall, these discussions are still good because you can discover people like these two on the panel. Monique was a key speaker at the event, and she has a concealed carry permit she obtained due to a physically abusive relationship. She didn't purchase the gun to kill people. She purchased it because it is the most effective tool to keep from getting killed. A link to a video on her situation is below, and the video is available on YouTube. Then there was this.
If you disarm the right people, it'll be more killing from the wrong people.
And
Thanks for watching. For more information, go to AmericanGunChick.com. If you would like to support future videos like this one, join me at patreon.com/AmericanGunChick, and we will keep doing our best to make things right.